If you lock yourself in a box with people that agree with you, you will never grow as a person. If I stayed in the whole manosphere box, right? If I only listened to guys like Kevin Samuels, whom I respect, if I only listen to Fresh and Fit, if I only listen to O'Shea and all these other guys, MTR, then I'd have been stuck in that box, you know. But what I chose to do is step outside of that box and listen to other people speak, and I found balance. I learned the importance of cherry picking, and I understood that cherry picking will be essential to navigating not just relationship dynamics, but also the world as a whole, primarily politics, economics, whatever is important. What's up, YouTube? This is HT, aka Higher Thinking, here to remind you to please stop at Dr. Claud Anderson's YouTube channel and watch his videos, right? Watch it unsnipped and unclipped and show some support, man. Stop at the comment section and just leave some roses because he deserves it, right? He's dedicated his entire life to being a warrior for a disenfranchised group of people, and that his work is not ending with him, that remind him that he's cultivated the next generation of warriors that's willing to continue to fight that he's left off on, right? So please stop by and show him some love. And in the meantime, enjoy this video.
And put white women into the affirmative action program and gave them the thing called Title IX, which says they're not only equal to black folk, they're over black folk. And two congressmen, one white congressman from Virginia and a white senator from Louisiana, stuck that into the 1964 civil rights law as a joke. And they were absolutely amazed that the black elected officials in this country never pushed back against it or said that it ain't going that way. You cannot stick white women into an affirmative action program and pretend that they are a minority.
As a joke. As a joke. You know what that joke does? You want to know what that joke does? This is what that joke does. Affirmative action that was set in place to bring black folks up to the level. I'm not even. It ain't. Oh my gosh. Who am I kidding? To inch them towards the to service level of the water. Right. I mean, the dominant society is on a freaking yacht. Black folks were given affirmative action to be above water. It's literally a freaking, what are those things called? A lifesaver. That's what affirmative action was supposed to be for blacks. But they gave that shit to white women anyway. And what is that gonna do? It's literally by them doing that, it's literally inadvertently, or not inadvertently, indirectly benefiting white men. Adding white women to affirmative action literally indirectly benefits white men. And they did that as a joke because blacks didn't give a, bro. It was just that, like, if I'm trying to, like, let's try to be empathetic on the moment. It was that bad for blacks that it didn't care. They just didn't care. They couldn't have cared. Because had we had cared, we wouldn't have got anything, apparently. Is that what it was? But, a freaking joke.
White women are not a minority. Women in general are not a minority. Women own and control.
Bro, there's more white women than there's white men. How the hell are they a minority? That doesn't make any damn sense. It was a little joke. And that's how bad it was back then, that we had to just sit there and freaking take it. Like as if we were freaking slaves. Bro, whatever job a white woman receives from by way of affirmative action literally benefits white men. So how is this? What's the purpose of, what the hell is the purpose of affirmative action anymore? It's something that, it's like the one thing that white men don't have access to, but they still benefit from it.
I don't debate and I don't wash windows. I try to deal with things that are substantive issues. But today I'm gonna try to deviate from that.
Now, I do believe in debating. I do believe in debating. I do believe in I do believe more so in conversations, but in times of when it's time to debate, it's time to debate. It just is what it is. A lot of people want to spread misinformation. A lot of people are choosing to confuse. We can't allow the confusion to fester because it's going to breed more confusion and then less progress and worse solutions are going to be had.
You got some people inside the black race that can do everything humanly possible just to demonstrate self-hate and to try to make sure that they find some way that they can escape by not being black or being associated, identified with anything associated with being black. And you got other people that would make commentaries. It says just like those inside your race that want to escape, outside your race, we're going to try to lock you in and make sure you stay in there too.
Yeah. So, and what a lot of people don't realize is it's not. I think a lot of people initially jump to like black Republicans as the people that are making an attempt to escape their race by way of identifying or aligning themselves with their political affiliation and their ideals and stuff like that. It's not just that, it's like any situation where you're willing to forego your culture of people and in support of whatever other agenda that's going on. That's pretty much what this is mostly about. It's like it's not just these guys that want to hop on Fox News and give any type of excuse as to why something happened, other than the fact that somebody is being singled out because the color of their skin. You know what I mean?
Because this is a competitive situation. The status quo does not want anything to change pertaining to black folk. I enjoy teaching black people to be analytical. And because if you don't, you got problems.
Yeah, be analytical. Couldn't agree with that more. I think right now, black folk, when you don't be analytical, you rely on your emotions. You rely on the things that you think. You rely on you don't even have conversations with folk, And when you don't even do that, you kind of look bad. It makes you look uneducated. It makes you look you kind of rely on instincts instead of like actual processes that will force you to deal with nuance and context before you find your solutions and your conclusions. And this is a big difference between going through the process, going through the proper steps necessary to find a proper solution, as opposed to just relying on your gut instincts to find your solutions. And yeah, when you're not analytical, when you're not dealing with all of the information possible, all the information necessary, being empathetic, being understanding both sides of the argument, it's literally only going to take somebody to recognize that, to expose that out of you in their own crafty ways. And ultimately, you lose credibility because of that. And you also, when you lose credibility, you also you lose any ability to get through to people, to bridge that gap between people, to literally bridge the gap between people so you can connect with other people. And when you don't connect with other people, your ideas are not gonna be transferred properly.
We spent centuries seeking out civil rights and social acceptance. And therefore, and yet nothing has changed. And what it's saying here is that we got to do something that's totally different. And we must look at the situation how? By learning how to connect the dots. Yeah. Now, if you go down to the second paragraph, it says, following the line.
Connecting the dots, being understanding nuance, applying the nuance, applying context, and forming solutions based on all data collected. The only people that's going to care about your problems as Black Americans is going to be you.
And now you need to know this: never in the history of this nation has any black person has the black race gone specifically into a presidential candidate and say, here's what we want singly and solely for black folk.
Yeah. They tried that with Trump. They tried that with I believe Steve Harvey tried that with Trump. Ice Cube tried that with Trump. Then Trump actually answered back with the Platinum Plan. I've read the Platinum Plan once. I got to go back and check it out again. but if nothing else, it was something. It was like it's more than what any Democrat offered Black Americans, and specifically. I mean, a lot of people like to argue that the things that Democrats instill does benefit blacks, but that is also a double-edged sword because the taxes are going to be cut out. It's like the taxes is going to be extracted from Black Americans, and then to help everybody else. What a lot of us believe is that blacks is kind of like in a dire need right now. Right now I guess we are third class citizen. We're third class citizens. I believe, in other words, that's like the third strongest population in America right now. But the voting popularity and the voting analytics is going to reflect that.
What I'm asking you to do is to redirect your vote.
Yes.
You can go ahead and vote, but redirect it to the candidates who are going to provide some benefits to solve the dilemma or resolve the problems that are peculiar only to black folk as exceptional people.
Yeah.
Now, if no candidate would take that on, you tell them no resolutions to our problems, no votes. Then what you do is you meet with as many of your people as possible, call them together, and start thinking very seriously about having a black independent party across the nation.
Yeah.
You set up your own black independent party, and you designate what you think should be the issues in a national election.
Yes.
And you and push it and demand that other people respect it. Now, everybody does this for black folk, except black folk.
This leads to his point on being analytical as a people, as a group of people. When we actually start being analytical about things, and again start gathering the information, start gathering nuanced context, history, all of this stuff, and start include that into our solution making process, we'll leave out things that kind of hold us back, and that is our feelings and our emotions. Because it's those feelings and emotions is what it's like the primary. It's like the central thing that our enemies will use against us. You know what I'm trying to say? Because like Republicans, by and large, are outwardly racist. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what we've kind of deduced as a group of people. And it's like a lot of Republicans don't want to hear that, but a lot of Republicans don't understand the importance of things like CRT, like critical race theory, where this is our outlet to just let everybody know how bad it is for how bad racism has affected Black Americans today. Like all the violence that's happened up to this point is primarily due to the fact that there's almost no established wealth amongst Black Americans right now. With that being said, the crime rate, the violence against our women, like all of that stuff is directly connected to our poverty. And everybody says, hey, go, and the common answer is, hey, go out and just work anyway and just make the dominant society more successful. I mean, of course, that's the only thing we can do. Folks have been already doing that, but there's a big population of us that want more than just that, and they've been robbed of that by way of these systems that's been put in place over generations that it literally contributes to where we are as a society today. Black folks are tired of being athletes, actors, and rappers, and we'd rather be businessmen now. But with the burning down of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Black Wall Street, and it all contributes as to why things are as bad as for Black Americans. You know what I mean? And we have to get away from just only rely on our emotions to make decisions when it comes to voting, because people are gonna manipulate that. And I'm specifically talking about the Democrats, because they're not gonna say anything that's outwardly racist. They feel like it's the only way. They feel as though the only thing they need to do as a political structure, a political powerhouse, is just not say anything that's offensive. You know what I mean? And that's not good enough. We need actual tangibles. We need things done in our communities. And the showing for it is just hasn't been like there's just nothing. There's not enough to show for it. It's not enough to show for it for me to continue supporting either of these political parties. That's why I'd rather vote independent than just vote just to vote out a specific problematic individual.
Your vote was already null and void even before the Hispanics passed you in the year 2000. You were always outnumbered by whites coming into the country, and they outnumbered you 9-1. And when Hispanics in 2000 increased it, and now you outnumbered 10-1.
I do remember reading somewhere that blacks held like 30% of the voting block in America. So that does mean something, and we need to like actually, in order for Democrats to actually care about our tangibles, we're gonna have to like remind them that we are a big portion of their success in America. And when we pull our votes away from them, and we form our own political groups that we will primarily dump our votes in, even though we know it's not gonna work. You know, even though we know that that the political party that we create won't win. You know what I mean? We don't. If we strategize this correctly, you know, we will at the very least bring acknowledgement. We will bring notice that these are the things that we want, and we will do something as crazy as vote for a political person that won't win, because it's by numbers it's impossible for them to win. We will vote for somebody like that, just to let everybody know just how serious we are as far as the tangibles that's necessary to keep black people as a group above water, you know. And that stuff is necessary. Instead of voting what our feelings, we vote strategically. And now Republicans are they're getting their butts whipped. They haven't won a popular vote in America and since Ronald Reagan. Like when was the last time they've won the popular vote, and they haven't relied on the electoral college to kind of bail them out and win them an election. They haven't won. They're getting their butts whipped. So if they're smart, they'll stop saying and doing things that's anti-black, and they'll be more competitive against the Democrats, because they're going to get wiped out they're gonna get wiped out if they act like they don't need the black vote. And then Democrats are in a position where they can just be lazy, and because they feel, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say that, I gotta be direct in this. They're gonna lose if we just strip away the entitlement that the Democrats have, and actually bring them to task as far as earning our vote. Then we're gonna get much better solutions, much better results when they are elected. Because if you're gonna allow if you're gonna allow Joe Biden to come up on a TV show with Charlemagne and say, if you don't vote for me, you're not black, that's entitlement. He's showing that the Democrats are mentally in a position where they are entitled for a black vote, and him being old and kind of dumb. He just doesn't realize that people in 2023 are smarter now, you know. And we've seen these tricks happen over and over and over again. And we're talking, and with the internet, with the power of the internet, we're having conversations now. We're bringing new ideas to each other, you know. And now I believe we're coming to a transition period where we are telling each other we have to hold these people to task. So for the simple fact that we know that being entitled is a bad thing, being narcissistic is a bad thing, we can start attaching these labels to the people that we vote for, you know. So then that will eventually and when these people know that the jig is up, you know, when we let them know that their entitlement lease is gone, that we're not voting for them just because they're Democrats, and we're not voting for them because we hate Republicans, that they can start actually taking us serious as a people, so that we can actually make strides towards a more sound and more grounded political system. When we strip away the entitlement of them being just Democrats, or them just being left aligned and all this other stuff, and start holding them to task as far as what they're providing as a politician or as a representative of their ideas and goals for society in America, Things would be a whole lot better.
The Constitution and the system has already suppressed your vote. They suppress your vote by making you the only planned minority in the country.
The only planned minority in the country. Think about being the only planned minority in the country. Think of what's necessary, what needs to be involved into crafting a minority out of a group of people. Imagine being the only planned minority in America, in a nation. Think about what comes with that. Think what's necessary to instill that in a society. And think of just imagine how evil people have to be to craft a system to place black folk in a position so unwinnable and watch us still survive anyway and still turn around and say, pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Y'all can do better than that. It's evil, man. As a black person, there's gonna be things you're gonna deal with that other people won't have the experience, and the only way you're gonna address those issues is by aligning with other black folks or other people that struggle with you, and addressing this to the higher powers, to the government, in other words. But if you are stuck in a perpetual identity crisis where you can't associate yourself with other blacks, then you won't come to the conclusion that you need to have these conversations with blacks in order to achieve these solutions. So like I said, you can get offended about all these black folk that's getting shot and killed by each other and the police and all these other people. But if you're not collaborating with your brethren in order to instill solutions that are rooted in rational thought, that are rooted in context and nuance, we're going to continue this cycle of until we're just out of the picture entirely, actually.
I have the dubious honor of writing the first affirmative action plan in the United States that was not contained in the United States Constitution. I wrote it in 1970 for the state of Florida that was approved by the governor and the cabinet system. Approved and went all over the United States. Everybody thought would be give a hand to black folk. But unfortunately, that program was captured and corrupted in 6 months. Instead of being focused on black folk, as I had intended, they shifted it over to minorities, poor folk, people of color, gender, and women's issues.
They pour water in it, man. But when you start pouring other people's interests and self-interest into something that's sound, something that's good and justified, it dilutes it, man. And it's like it sounds. I know it sounds bad. Like, yo, why are we only helping out like one specific group of people? Like, but you can start. I mean, at the very least, you can start it out by just saying people that moved here. Settlers, not settlers, but foreigners that moved here and legally, they were given government benefits. Black folks were never given any sorts of benefits from the government to get them started as a people.
They got about 38 to 39%, 48 to 47% of all the jobs in America. They got about 51% of the population. They got about 65% of all the college degrees. They got about 87% of the wealth. They got two of the biggest mortgage companies and banks in the United States. They inherited, they co-own, and they controlled and co-influence everything that the white man got during slavery. They are not a minority.
Not
what
at
they've
all.
done is take a majority, which was the women, and stuck them into the affirmative action program and corrupted and bankrupted. And they did
corrupted and bankrupted, and it was a joke. It's like this is literally what happened, bro. Like they gave us lifeguards. They threw us the lifesavers. The black folks that got a lifesaver were saved. They cool, right? But then all of a sudden they start throwing the white women lifesavers also. Like everybody gets a lifesaver, and all of a sudden black folks all of a sudden there's not enough lifesavers for black folks that needed it. And here's the results. Here's the results. Outrageous crime rates in America. Little to no established wealth. A projected 0% wealth share in America for this group of people by the year 2053. Black numbers, like population dwindling and going down. Political parties that don't give a damn about us because our numbers aren't strong enough. So these people that come along and say, "Oh, y'all got everything. This is the best place for a black person to be, America. Y'all should be jumping for joy to be Americans." How about you apply some context? How about you apply some nuance? How about you actually start caring? When you start caring and you start applying, actually start performing your due diligence, you start putting in some research, you might be able to start sympathizing. That's a little bit. At the very least, empathize and stop being a fucking racist.
George Washington got 100,000 acres of free land. Thomas Jefferson picked up 100,000 acres of free land.
100,000.
That's been passed on to all of his generational descendants.
Yes.
That's why Patrick Henry got 65,000 acres of free land. That's why white immigrants coming to America picked up over 1 billion acres of free land. Didn't pay a penny for it. That's how they got all these big farms out west and ranches. They didn't pay for that land. They got it free in land rushes. As a matter of fact, the last land rush of 1862 gave every immigrant 160 acres of free land. But when black folks in the 1860s asked for 40 acres of mule, they said, y'all not entitled to anything.
There you go. You see, we couldn't get 40 acres. They've seized billions of acres of land, and we couldn't get. Yeah.
What she's saying is, Dr. Anderson, you're not your skin cut complexion is not black. You're a Caucasian.
Oh, goodness. No way am I upset that he's answering this question. Not a chance. I'm just mad that people don't have the intelligence to understand a bad argument before they even make it. Like, dude, it's like proofreading for grammatical errors isn't enough. Like, sometimes you need to just reread what you wrote just to acknowledge just how dumb you sound.
Here's a book right here called "Who Is Black?" that was written back in the 1990s. And by this fellow. And in the book, he says very specifically that who is the black? Dr. Claud, and they said, you want to know who's black? The reference, contact Dr. Claud Anderson, and it's stipulated on one of the pages, 75, I think page 75 in that book, that he determines what was black. He gives you the explanation of who is black. And this woman said, there is no black people. See, that shows how far she is. The most powerful thing on earth and in the heavens is blackness. If you were to leave this earth and take a trip any place in outer space, you'll find the most powerful thing is blackness. Any place you go, blackness is extreme force of black.
That's interesting. That's interesting. He says, I would have never thought of it like that. He talking about a black hole, and he talking about like space in general. Like, yeah, all right. I see you. I see what he said, but I would have never. All right, I'll leave it at that.
We got the black holes in outer space that are so powerful. They're 20 million times stronger than the sun. They got the ability to be able to draw anything into the black hole and destroy it. Can destroy matter. The blackness is power in the outer spheres of this earth. Now, on this earth, the most powerful things on the earth is blackness. Whether the plants, the food you eat, or if you go to the color spectrum. And you can have all kind of colors in the color categories. You can have pink, yellow, green, brown, whatever you want. The most powerful color is black. Black will dominate any color on the earth in the color spectrum. Black will run over any of those other colors.
That's so
if I were to put blackness in terms of on paint, the black color will harden faster and will last longer than any other color.
Hey, this is the blackest brother I've ever seen in my life after that explanation. Hey, I'm rocking with it, though.
Blackness is power. and whites have always identified that and felt that. That's why back in when they passed the national origin law back in 1924, they said, be very careful. They told whites, be very careful in 1924 about blackness. They said blackness is so powerful that you only take one drop of black blood can make you black. But yeah, and you can have a jar of black blood that can't make you anything else. It can't make you white. Black will dominate any blood you can come into. That's why they passed those laws about blackness is power in the origin.